Hello, am I audible? All right. Starting with today's unit, it's unit 13 of the block 4. So we are going to be learning the wage, welfare, and social security. Uh, in today's class, we'll be learning about the introduction, the meaning of compensation, wage concepts, methods of wage payment, meaning of welfare, objectives of welfare, statutory and non-statutory measures, special provision for women and social security, concept and measures. I hope I'm audible. Coming to the introduction, in fast-paced, continuously changing environment, the emphasis on of organizations must be on finding the people who not only bring relevant skills, competencies, and experience, but flexibility and adaptability. To develop a loyal and motivated workforce, companies of all sizes must create competitive compensation, implement statutory and non statutory welfare measures, and provide social security to the employees. This is particularly important when starting a shared service center from scratch. In recent years, rising healthcare costs, proposed rulings concerning the expensing of stock options, pension schemes, and shifting employee values have opted many businesses to re examine their compensation programs and make adjustments designed to maximize their value while minimizing their costs. Further, employee well-being has become significant component. Once. Understanding the meaning of compensation. Compensation is an integral part of human resource management. It helps in motivating the employees and improving organizational effectiveness. Compensation in ordinary terms meaning something awarded to someone in recognition of loss, sufferings, or injury. In human resource management, it refers to reward received by an employee in return for the service or effort to contribute to the organization. Compensation is the total cash and non cash payments that an employee is given in exchange for the work he did for business. Compensation can be understood in the following statements. Compensation is a reward given by employer to employee. Compensation includes both monetary and non monetary benefits. Compensation is given in exchange for the service rendered or work performed. Wage concepts. Wages are one of the most important factors of production in any organization. It is also an important determinant of the price and profit of the product. According to Turner, a wage is price It is the price paid by the employer to the worker on account of labor performed. According to Benham, a wage can be defined as a sum of money paid under contract by an employer to worker for services rendered. The concept of wages is, however, not simple, as it is related not only to the time and effort of employees but also to their livelihood. So, basically, the Committee on Fair Wages in 1948 has defined various concepts of wages which govern the wage structure in the country, especially in those sectors. Okay, one second. Hello, ma'am, am I audible? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. You're audible.
Okay, ma'am. Wages are one of the most important factors of production in any organization. It is also an important determinant of the price and profit of the product. So, like I told you, from the definition of Turner and Benham, basically, wage concepts are those, which is termed as workers, concepts on minimum wage, living wage, and fair wage. Right. So according to that, we have nominal wages and real wages. What are nominal wages? Nominal wage is the wage. It is the rate of pay. If you are paid rupees 50 per hour, your nominal wage is 50 per hour. But real wages, when wage is expressed in terms of purchasing power, it is called as real wage. Real wages constitute the actual goods and services the nominal wage can buy. As purchases are independent on price changes, real wages are usually adjusted for the prevailing rate of inflation. The Consumer Price Index acts as a basis for calculating real wages for the employees. So the following is the formula for determining real wages. The following is the formula for determining real wages, that is WR into 100, where real wages versus nominal wages, the level of Price. Real wages have inverse relationship with prices. They change as follows. With changes in price. So when prices of goods rise, real wages fall, money wages remain the same. So when prices of goods fall, real wages rise, money wages remaining the same. Any fall in real wages normally indicates the diminishing purchasing power of employees and reduced consumption. Coming to the minimum wage is protected by law. Under the Minimum Wages Act 1948, each state fixes a minimum wage, which is revised at regular intervals. Hence, it is the legally permissible minimum compensation payable to the employees to their job efforts. The Committee on Fair Wages 1948 has defined minimum wages as minimum wages is the wage which must provide not only for the bare sustenance of life, but for the preservation of the efficiency of the worker too. So the goal of providing minimum wages is to assist the employee and their families achieve self-sufficiency in life. As such, it is two components, sustenance and efficiency. Sustenance is meet the business requirements of life, like food, clothes, rent, and fuel and lighting. Um, Efficiency is welfare and development requirements like medical education and minimum recreation and amenities. Need-based minimum wage. Need-based minimum wages are, like the size of the family, food requirements, clothing, housing, fuel, etc. Fair wages. Now, fair wages are the wages above the minimum wages, but below the living wages. Where you have the most important factors relating to the employer, union, and economy. So, the employer, employee, and economy. Employer is the ability to pay productivity expectations, workload distributions. Employee is union bargaining power, competencies, workload, and standard family. Economy is the location of the industry level of national income and the pattern of its distribution and the wage levels prevailing in the same area. Living wages. Living wages can be described as an ideal wage for an employee as it takes off all its needs and those of all his determinants adequately. Living wages is defined by the Committee on Fair Wages as the highest level of wages that should enable the earner to provide for himself and his family not only the bare essentials of food, clothing, and shelter, but a measure of frugal comfort, including education for his children, protection against ill health, requirements of essential social needs, and a measure of insurance against the more important misfortunes, including old age. Important fortunes, including old age. The purpose of living wages is to ensure that the employee get an income which is sufficient for meeting their present and future necessities and contingencies. It has two components again. There is all necessities and some basic comforts for family and insurance for security in future. Methods for wage payment. Basically, there are two methods of wage payment. There is time rate system and piece rate system. So the time rate systems relates to the hours the employee is at work, regardless of his output. The other hand, the piece rate systems relates to the production or output, regardless of the time taken for production. The other method of wage payment is incentive schemes. It is the only a variation of two or combined with time and piece rate systems. Time rate system. In this system, the worker is paid on the basis of time spent on the work, irrespective of the amount of work done. The basis of this time can be hour, day, week, or month. It is the oldest system and is widely employed in those organizations where quality of work is more important than that the volume. Measurements of work is not convenient. Production involves delay and interruption due to uncontrollable factors where the work requires a high degree of skill. Where work is of such nature that efficiency can only be measured by close supervision. Even this has merits. Merits of this method are it is simply to understand and operate. Workers are of a guaranteed minimum wages irrespective of the output, suitable to beginners and learners for precision work where care is more significant than speed. The time rate system will help maintain the quality of products. It is favored by trade unions because it maintains worker solidarity without cleavage arising from differentiation in wages between efficient and inefficient workers. Now, in time rate system, if you have merits, then you definitely have the demerits of it. So anything that has an advantage can also have a lot of disadvantage where we need to view our options. Now, the limitations of the systems are it makes no distinction between efficient and inefficient workers. It offers very little to capable and efficient workers in the form of incentives to increase production. Management is made to spend more on assuring close supervision and thereby prevent wastage of time. Workers try to make the work last as long as possible so that they can earn more. According to straight piece rate, in this method, payment is made on the basis of fixed, uh, you know, amount per fixed units produced without regard to the time taken. That is, earnings is equal to number of units into rate per unit. So the fixation of piece rate generally depends upon the comparable time rate for the same class of workers, and the expected outcome is given time. Piece rates with piece rates with guaranteed time rates. In this system, workers are paid minimum wages on the basis of time rates. A piece rate system with guaranteed time rate may include any one of the following. That is, if earnings on the basis of piece rates are less than the guaranteed minimum wages, the workers will be paid on the basis of time rate. On the other hand, if earnings according to piece rate are more, the workers will get more. Guaranteed wages according to time rate plus a piece rate payment for units above a required minimum. Piece rate with a fixed dearness allowances or cost of living bonus. Differential piece rates. Now, differential piece rate is again a little different. The work is, in this method, the rate per piece is increased as the output level is increased. There is more than one piece rate system. In other words, the increase rates may be appropriate to the increase in output. By this system, inefficient workers are encouraged to earn more. This system is suitable where the work is repetitive in nature and output can be identified with individual workers. The merits are it provides encouragement for higher production. It enhances general dexterity. That means in their bid to earn more. Workers will try to adopt better and more efficient methods and thereby improve their skills and capabilities. Make calculation and estimates easy. That is, since wage rate is fixed per unit, it is easy to prepare quotations, estimate, and budgets. Ideal time will be reduced to minimum as workers are not paid for wasted time on the job. They avoid wastages of time. Machines are maintained well, stoppage and reduce their earnings. Cost of supervision is less. Higher earnings for increased production automatically compels them to work with zeal and enthusiasm. There are limitations as well. Limitations, that is, no minimum remuneration is guaranteed. Beginners and average workers will not be able to earn reasonable wages. Quality may be affected, not suitable for work, some works affects health of workers. Employees may have dissatisfaction, and there's a lot of resistance to the systems. Let us understand the meaning of welfare. Employee welfare measures are one of the key inputs to bring about the desired level of employee satisfaction, motivation, and productivity in the organization. The basic objective of welfare measure is to ensure the physical and mental well-being of the employee. An organization must view its employee measures such as investment rather than an expense. This is because the profitability of an organization is directly linked to the productivity of its workforce. In turn, the employee productivity is decided to the considerable extent by the motivational environment created by the employee welfare measures undertaken by the organization. The primary purpose of undertaking employee welfare measure is to earn and retain the goodwill and loyalty of the employees and their unions. Thus, employee welfare measure is not a one-time activity, it is an ongoing process of the organization. Organizations often use it as an effective means to control employee attrition and the related HR cost. Although the cost of welfare measures are usually met out of the profits of the organizations, employee friendly organizations maintain these facilities even during periods of economic crisis like recession, just to show their genuine concern for the well being of their employee. Some of the important definitions of employee welfare. Let's read one of the definitions according to Arthur James Todd. Employee labor welfare means anything done for the comfort and improvement, intellectual or social, of the employees over and above the wages paid, which is not a necessity of the industry. Now, let's understand the objectives of welfare. Employee welfare aims at creating a motivational environment which facilitates better cooperation from the employee for the plans. It focuses on retaining the talented employees within the organization for a long time. Organizations took to obtain high employee employment, commitment, and satisfaction through employee measures. The long-term aim of the employee measures is to achieve a desired level of productivity, performance, and efficiency among the employees. Organizations attempt to create goodwill for themselves in the labor market through welfare measures, which in turn help them attract the best talents with ease. Employee welfare strives to create a strong between the organization and the employees. Employee welfare helps the organization avoid jealousy and fault finding by dispelling the anxieties of the employees about their future through the relevant welfare measures. Statutory and non-statutory measures. What is statutory and non-statutory measures? The welfare measures undertaken to improve the well-being of the employees can be classified broadly into two categories. These are Statutory and non-statutory welfare facilities. When welfare facilities are undertaken as per the requirements of the laws, they are called statutory facilities. On the other hand, welfare facilities undertaken voluntarily by the employers, trade unions, or by any other voluntary agencies are called non-statutory welfare facilities. We shall first discuss the statutory welfare facilities offered by the organization and then the non-statutory one. Coming to the statutory welfare, now these facilities the central government has enacted several acts to protect the interest of the employees. We shall now see the relevant provisions of the various acts that deals with employee welfare measures. First is the Factories Act 1948. The Factories Act of 1948 is a central act enforced by the state government and is applicable to all the factories engaged in manufacturing activities, including those run by the state and central government. It is a responsibility of the organization to comply with the provisions of this act. The Factories Act is applicable to the premises where 10 or more workers are employed along with the use of electricity. 20 or more workers are employed without the use of electricity. Less than 10 workers are employed by the activity is notified by the state government. Now let's see the important sections governing employee welfare measures. Section 7A, the employers shall ensure the welfare, including health and safety of the employees. Section 11, which should be about clean and tidiness. Section 18, suitable and effective arrangements. Section 19, adequate number of toilet facilities. Section 20 is, spit-in facilities. 42 is washing. 43 is, sorting and drying of clothes. 44 is in the case of jobs which require long hours of standing up by the employees. Section 45 is about first aid box. 46, wherein more than 250 people are employed. 47 is the lunchroom and with water facilities. 48 is the rooms which is used by the children. 49 is adequate number of welfare officers to supervise. Employees fulfilling the required conditions must be provided with leave facilities is section 979, and then section 81 if required to the employees who will leave for not less than 4 days. Contract laborers in 1970. Non-statutory welfare measures. Non-statutory facilities may include the facilities offered by the employers voluntarily and all those created by the employees themselves through the unions and other agencies. As mentioned earlier, these are the facilities provided voluntarily by the employers with the sole intentions of improving the general well-being. So these facilities are provided by the employers if they are well within the capacity of organization in terms of the time, cost, and physical requirements. Some of these facilities would be provided to the employees within the factory premises and the rest outside the premises. However, the objects of providing such facilities remain the same. Irrespective of how, where, and when these facilities are provided, we shall now see the important welfare facilities provided by the organizations to their employees. Transport facilities. Now, for this, the organization may use its own transport vehicles. It may also hire the services of the public transport companies for transport the employees. These facilities are made available to the employees either free of cost or at subsidized rate. In fact, the problem of distance is easily overcome with the help of transport facilities. Transport facilities help the employees save time and energy and avoid inconvenience. As far as the organization is concerned, these facilities help it allocate its factories in an ideal place without worrying about distances. Some organizations provide vehicle loan facilities, petrol allowances to their employees to facilitate them in commuting their own vehicles. Housing facilities. The employees can also be punctual in attending in duty. Organizations offer these facilities in two forms: allotting houses to the employees to the rental basis, sanctioning house loaning to them to buy their own houses and flats. Although there are a few acts which deal with the provision of housing facilities, many organizations provide such facilities voluntary to their employee. Educational facilities, they enable the employees to participate in organization and societal activities. They also facilitates the employees undertaking and learning health and safety aspects of the job quickly and effectively. Educational facilities are provided to the children of the employees also in different forms. Organizations may have their own educational institutes to impart equality education to the employees at subsidized rates, or else they may provide different forms of educational assistance like scholarships to employees, children to help them pursue their studies successfully. Recreational facilities is like where many organizations provide sports and games as an effective tool in stress reduction and management. Canteen facilities. Now they enable to employ to perceive their health by getting hygienic preparatory quality food for a reasonable price. Although there is a statutory requirement for providing canteens inside the factories, the facilities offered by the employers in this regard usually exceed the legal requirements. Insurance facilities. Several organizations provide insurance facilities to their employees to cover their medical expenses and to compensate for the loss arising out of the death of the insured employees. E-communicating and flexi-time facilities. Modern organization offering re-commuting facilities that avoid taxing trips to and from their offices. Similarly, organizations also offer employee flexible timings to complete their job assignments conveniently. Intramural facilities. These are like washing facilities, latrines and urinals, bathing facilities, canteen, first aid, restrooms, crutches, protective clothes and raincoats, reading room facilities, commuting, and flexi hours. Extramural facilities like insurance, transport, games and sports, education facilities for the employees' children, housing facilities, guest room facilities, leave travel concession, cooperative societies, and maternity benefits. There are special provisions for women as well. That is the Factories Act 1948 provision of employment of women during night hours, Shops and Establishment Act provision of work in hazardous occupations, prohibition of employees of women in pressing clothes where cotton opener is at work, fixation of daily hours, maximum permissible load, provision for crèche, and there shall be suitable room for the use of children under the age of 6 years of such women. The contract labor and abolition 1970. Provisions of creches were made where 20 or more women are ordinarily employed as contract labor. Provision for washing and bathing facilities. The Act provides for separate and adequate screened washing and bathing facilities for women. Provisions for toilets. The Factories Act must make it obligatory for many factory owner to maintain an adequate number of latrine and urinals separate for women, provisions for restrooms and canteens, provisions for mandatory benefits. The Employee State Insurance Act 1948 and the Maternity Benefit 1961 as well. This employee state insurance benefit is about premature birth of child, miscarriage, and all these confinements of 12 weeks. The maternity benefit is like, which has increased the duration of paid maternity leave available for women employees from the existing 12 weeks to 26 weeks. The Maternity Benefit Amendment Act has also introduced an enabling provision relating to work from home for women, which may be exercised after the expiry of the 26th leave period. The Equal Remuneration Act, the National Rural Employment Guaranteed Act, the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace is also given. Initiatives by private organizations, that is RMSI, besides a well-defined anti-sexual harassment policy which ensures safety and equal rights for women. Other initiatives like self-defense and workshops, Tai Chi, distribution of pepper sprays, sessions with women police officers and NGOs to create awareness about women's safety and rights. Google Women's Empowerment is another focus area. Google offers academic scholarships to future leaders in technology and supporting employee resource groups like Women at Google. American Express, Amex designed a unique gender diversity initiatives in 2014 called Reach Out. This program is collaborated with four other leading companies, PepsiCo, PwC, and Tata Sons, to set a partnership which enables us to leverage each other's diversity and inclusion. The program provided a development platform for senior women leaders to share, network, and learn from leaders and peers across these organizations to enable greater career success. SAP women are entitled to 26 weeks of paid maternity leave with an additional 16 weeks of extended maternity leave with loss of pay or a part-time work option. Run Mummier. It is a maternity return program that focuses on ensuring the return of a female employee after her maternity leave as smooth as possible. SAP Links in-house crèche. This crèche caters to 250 children in the age group of 9 months to 6 years. Business Women Network, it's a forum which strives to foster a diverse workplace at SAP by inspiring women employees through the creation of role models and sharing of inspirational stories of successful women in leadership positions. Then we have social security concept, measures, and schemes. Now, the concept of social security is the protection is usually available to the employees against a loss of earnings caused by old age, sickness, unemployment, disability, and death. The driving force behind social security measures is to safeguard the employees against all forms of social risks that affect the employee's ability to fulfill their basic requirements. The purpose of providing such security is to help the employees and their dependents lead a dignified life in any situation and achieve social justice and equality. The features of social security are that it is to protect the employees and to better the healthcare facilities and to compensate events like old age, death, and reduction in unemployment. Social secure endures of minimum standard of living, the equality for all members, and compensating for the loss arising out of specific contingencies. Measures of social security. Social security to the employees was by and large ensured through legislations passed by the central and state authorities. In fact, the first Social Security Act was passed in the United States in 1934 as a part of the social reforms to protect the life of workers and their families against all forms of misfortunes that cannot be eliminated. And then there are the need for social security to the employment that has been recognized by UN nations in its Universal Declarations of Human Rights 1948 as well. There are Article 22, 23, and 24, where Article 22 suggests that it is entitled to realizations through national effort and international cooperation, and 22 is the human dignity, and 25 is the clothing, housing, and medical care and necessary social services. Classification of social security benefits. The social security benefits offered by state authorities through employees and other appropriate agencies can be classified into two categories, that is, medical and compensation facilities and retirement benefits. Medical and compensation facilities is the intent of compensation facilities is to compensate the financial loss arising out of the occurrence of unforeseen events like death, disability, and other employment injury. The Workers' Compensation Act 1923, the Employees State Insurance Act, and the Maternity Benefit Act 1961 provide medical and compensation facilities to the employees and the department. Retirement benefits is these benefits also preserve the standard of living and the dignity of the life of retired employees and the dependents of the deceased or retired employees. Retirement facilities and social securities include Provident Fund and Gratuity Fund. The Employees Provident Fund and Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1952 and the Payment of Gratuity 1972 deal with the retirement benefits. Social security schemes in India, as far as it is concerned, that ensuring social security of the employees has become an important responsibility of the central government. Thus the government enacts appropriate legislations and develops a proper system to administrate various schemes to protect the interest of the employees. The government of India has vested the responsibility of social security with the Ministry of Labor and Employment. This ministry is in charge of development and administration of social security schemes. Over a period of time, the government has enacted several legislative measures to protect the interest of the employees. Of these, there are 5 legislations which impact the development and maintenance of social security schemes directly. The Employees State Insurance Act 1948, the Employees Provident Funds and Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1952, including the Employees Deposit Linked Insurance Scheme 1976, 1923 Maternity 1961, Payment Gratuity 1972. We shall now discuss in detail the relevance and implications of these acts in ensuring social security of employees in India. Employees State Insurance Act 1948 that has coverage, administration, and funding of the schemes as well. That is the contribution of investments of financial sectors. Then you have operations of the schemes. That is, the employees insured under the ESI Act are eligible to get the following benefits. That is the medical, the sickness, and the maternity benefits, the disablement benefits, and the funeral benefits. Maternity Benefits Act coverage and operation. Operation is basically less than 80 days in the 12 months immediately preceding the date of her expected delivery. Payment of Gratuity Act 1972. This scheme provides for payment of gratitude to employees in establishments in which more than 10 persons are employed or were employed on any day of the preceding 12 months. Coverage and operations as well. Workers' Compensation Act 1923. Coverage operation again, which is amounting to 80,000, whoever is been multiplied. Employees Provident Funds and Miscellaneous Provisions Act coverage as well. Their coverage, how much ever they are covering. Provident Fund schemes, that is eligible for advance for the accountant for time to time. However, permanent withdrawal from the fund is allowed only for completing 15 years of service. Employees Deposit Linked Insurance Scheme, 1976, and its operation and how they go about it. Employees, Compensation Scheme, 1995, and its operations as well. So with this, we end our first, Unit 13. And tomorrow we will finish the 14th one as well. Thank you so much.